CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, Labour Minister Dr. Esther Bayer has defended her decision to write to the Director of National Insurance, asking him to put a system in place to process outstanding pension claims manually. Stressing that it was not a reprimand, she read a copy of the letter she wrote to the Director to members of the Upper House, noting she is ultimately responsible for policy and oversight in relation to the NIS. The government senator has been speaking as the National Insurance continues to look for ways to address problems with a new computer system that has led to major delays in pensions and other benefits. After many weeks, pensioners started receiving their checks this weekend, and Senator Dr. Bayer says government is doing all in its power to ensure that all the claims are settled. She blames many of the issues on poor communication.
We have to communicate with people. I believe it is a part of change management. Yes, all the planning was done in the back office. The IT people came and went, and we always have them here working on things. But the communication with the staff so that they know what's going on, communication with the people who interface directly with the public, communication with the board and with the ministry, and communication with the people so that they know what is going on. Yes, they still want their check. They don't want to have to wait 2 or 3 months for their check. But communication, when people feel as if they go to complain about an issue and nobody cares and they're just being turned away, that makes it even harder. As I mentioned at the outset.
Senator Bayer also refuted comments about the NIS Unemployment Fund being bankrupt.
All right, government has been very careful with how to deal with national insurance, and this is the same government that is now putting $12.5 million into the unemployment fund to ensure that persons continue to be covered. And before I leave national insurance, let me just make it clear too. When government invests money in the when government invests national insurance money, it doesn't get a preferentially low rate. In fact, the rate that government gets on any monies that is borrowed from national insurance is very high. And the rate of return on the buildings that they've built in Warrens is going to work out at something like 15% that the national insurance is going to get from those buildings. So national insurance is not losing out when they lend money to government.
The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. and the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association will be having a summer-fall promotion called Brilliant Barbados. It's a new marketing strategy to follow up the strong start of the 2014-2015 winter season. Marketing Director of BTMI, Robert Chase, says the aim is to have tourists coming to the island all year round.
We're seeking to continue to build awareness and enhance the presence of Barbados in the international marketplace. And initiatives like this are geared towards ensuring that our level of presence and our level of competitiveness is sustained. We had a very good first 2 months in the year in terms of the data that's already available, and also a very, very good December. Yes. And we're looking to continue that straight down through the year and ensure that we in fact have a very good full tourism year. And at the same time, we're trying to position Barbados on an ongoing basis as a year-round destination. Try to take some of the seasonality out of our situation so that we have a continuous flow of foreign exchange, which is so vital to our economy.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Sue Springer, says she's not at all happy with forward bookings for hotels.
We're about on pace to where we were last year for the summer period, but we have had an extremely good winter period, that's for sure. March is a little slower than December, January and February, but overall the winter season has been very positive, which we're very pleased to see. Because you know, it's been 5 years really that we have been sort of struggling with the occupancies. So it is good now to have the occupancies there, because this will begin to help the hotels to at least be able to pay maybe their capital and not just their interest.
Barbados does not need a new hospital to solve the problems being faced by the healthcare system. What is needed, according to Professor Sir Henry Fraser, is money, management, morale and supplies for the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
If we can't find the needed $50 million for those things to make our hospital run efficiently, then how can we find $1 billion for a new hospital that is really simply not needed. When we need only $500 million for a new block, state-of-the-art, as planned 8 to 9 years ago, at that time $500 million, as opposed to 0.9 of a billion, the estimate of a new hospital 8 to 9 years ago.
Sir Henry, who was the first dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences at Cave Hill, also commented on the ongoing situation of shortages of internship spaces at the QEH during day 2 of the estimates debate. He says over the years, the number of spaces have increased to facilitate the ever-growing number of students studying medicine, especially in Trinidad and Jamaica. A government senator wants the Ministry of Education to set up a 100-foot buffer zone around schools to keep undesirables off the premises. Reverend Dr. David Durant says this should help prohibit the selling of illegal drugs and other nefarious activities that conflict with the morals which schools are trying to teach.
I don't think it is time for us to allow fellas from the block to continue converging by the school gate or close to the school premises at the beginning of school, or coming there when it's break time near the school premises, or coming there at lunchtime during the school time, or at the end of the day coming on the school premises or close to the school parameters, you know, and mix up with the children.
Reverend Durant also revealed that Barbados will soon have a new daycare facility for the elderly, and it will be located in the Pine. He also told the Upper House that Lancaster House in St. James has been acquired and will be retrofitted to temporarily house fire victims who may have lost their homes and don't have alternative accommodation. We'll have more news after the break, but first we want to get your take on this question. Should education authorities set up a 100-foot perimeter around schools to keep out undesirables? Text yes or no to short code 8111. You'll have the results at the end of the news.
Sandals, sandals, sandals galore. Megville gives you ladies sandals for this week only. Monday to Saturday, any pair of sandals for only $25. So go to Megville on Tudor Street, High Street and Palmetto Street for any pair of sandals for only $25. This week only, Monday to Saturday.
Shopping in the Sky is simply delicious at our mouth-watering brand new Sky Food Court. Our amazing spread includes Little Pleasures ice cream, coffee, and desserts. Authentic Asian cuisine at Waldy's Walk. Delectable Greek dining at Opa Express. A range of sumptuous Caribbean dishes at Tamarind of the Islands. And the very best of Bajan cuisine and pastries. Compliments Master Chef Peter Edie and his delightful pastry house and Peter Patties. Plus, we've got the world-renowned fast food giant Burger King. You cannot pass Haggett Hall and not join us for a quick delicious meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at our brand new food court only at Sky Mall, where when it comes to great fast food, there are no limits.
Community Files.
If you are between the ages of 8 and 18 and dream of taking your calypso music to a national stage, then you can participate in a National Cultural Foundation workshop for the Junior Calypso Monarch competition under the theme, The Craft of Songwriting. The workshop commences on Saturday, March 28th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. and it takes place at the NCF's headquarters, West Terrace, St. James. Participants are encouraged to bring their topics of interest and ideas with them. For further information, contact Karen Pestana at 234-5511 or email karen-pestana at ncf.bb.
Start your weekend early with Q in the Community Thursday and Saturday. This Saturday, Q in the Community will be at the Netball Stadium, Waterford, St. Michael from 11 a.m. Come for dancing, karaoke competition, and lots more. It's a Q weekend sponsored by Stag, the official beer of Q in the Community, and Dewar's Whiskey. Tune into 100.7 FM or join our Facebook page for more details.
We are We're celebrating 10 years as the one with you.
Look out for us this week as we bring the pop-up party to you.
Wear your sneakers, wear your shorts, and come to drink and party with the 98.1 The One DJs. Banks and Mackinson promotions all night long. Sponsored by Banks, Mackinson, Island Ice, and 98.1 The One.
This Friday, meet us at Cloud9 Bar, Maxwell Main Road from 7 until midnight.
Also brought to you by Realistic Ideas and Schoolboy Sounds.
Nigerian students returning home from the Barbados leg of the Delta State program have nothing to fear. That assurance today from top officials from Delta State here on the island in response to a recent newspaper report. In that article, some of the students claimed that they could face imprisonment or certain death if they refused an order by their government to go back to Nigeria. But during a news conference at Island Inn Hotel this afternoon, Delta State Attorney General Charles Aduya declared that nothing of the sort will happen to them. He says those students being sent home had a different agenda and did not want to comply with the arrangements of the Delta State government.
5 left on Sunday. They've arrived safely and they are united with their family. Nobody questioned them. Rather, we spoke to them and they called us freely to tell us about their conditions. And if these ones go tomorrow or today, the same thing will apply to them. Nobody's going to kill them. Nobody's going to victimize them. Nobody's going to put them in prison. They were all sent here to learn acquisition, a skill acquisition. And if they do not want to learn the skill acquisition, of course, they'll go back home.
Well, Delta State has never been found culpable of human rights abuses in any court of law, and the 8 students making the accusations have refused to sign the Code of Conduct and the Delta State's rules, unlike the other 70 who are doing well. According to the Honorable Minister of Higher Education in Delta State, Charles Emi Tulu, the majority of Nigerian students will remain at Casa Grande and start the program soon. Now, where they will be studying is yet to be revealed. He admits that there will be cost overruns because of the delay, but dismissed rumors that money had gone missing.
If our funds were missing, we will hold the consultant responsible. But believe me when I tell you that we have not, as at this moment that this press conference is going on, told anybody of missing funds. It is not enough to exhibit ignorance like the students have begun to exhibit. It is for you to, we are not a wasteful government. Are you saying that we are celebrating our money is getting lost? No. We didn't come here to look for missing money because there's no money missing.
The program is to continue in Barbados. Head of Pediatrics at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Clyde Cave, says the institution has been experiencing low birth rates recently. As a result, Dr. Cave says the current resources have not been threatened. He was speaking after Shell Western Supply and Trading Company donated another incubator to the neonatal intensive care unit. The instrument will be used to house ill and premature babies. Dr. Cave says the equipment and resources used to look after sick babies are very costly.
It's an essential service that we must have running all the time. We've been relatively lucky in the last few weeks where the birth rate has been low, so our resources haven't been stretched. But there are times when all our equipment is in use, and it's an expensive proposition to look after babies. For each sick premature baby, we estimate that it's about $250,000 in Barbados for the equipment which we have to have on hand to look after a single baby if we are doing the full level of intensive care. And then there would be specialized staff, both in care of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and the drugs we use are also expensive.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Should education authorities set up a 100-foot perimeter around schools to keep out undesirables? Text yes